say. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is December 9th, 2021 at 6:05 p.m. Mr. Vichkowski, would you be willing to read the mission statement of God, please?
Yes, sir. The mission of Monument Academy is to provide a challenging, content-rich academic program offered within an engaging, caring, and positive learning environment. Established on a solid foundation of knowledge, Monument Academy emphasizes academic excellence, respect, responsibility, character, and exemplary citizenship.
Thank you, Mr. Vichkowski. Would everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance? All right, board, we're going to do a roll call. Mr. Vichkowski.
Present.
Mrs. Clinton.
Present.
Mr. Dole.
Present.
Mrs. McEwen.
Present.
Mrs. St. Aubin.
Present.
So everyone is aware, Mrs. St. Aubin is joining us virtually tonight, and will be heard over here to my left. And for the record, Ryan Graham is present. We have a forum. We will go ahead and proceed forward with tonight's agenda. Are there any other additions to the agenda for tonight?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we record this meeting and upload it for public access for 30 days.
So we have a motion to record the meeting tonight. Our YouTube channel for 30 days. Second.
I'll second the motion.
Do we have any discussion on said motion?
Or I would just, can you hear me? Yes, you can. I would just say that this would be, yes, no?
Megan, we're gonna have to bring you up here. We're gonna have to take some time.
It's okay, I'll fix it, Megan.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Wish I could be there. I would just like to add that this would be a one-time commitment to upload the video for now.
We'll hear that. That you amend the motion to make this a one-time to the YouTube channel. And this would be for a 30-day time. Okay. Any opposition to that? Nope. We're gonna vote on the motion. Mr. Vichkowski, how do you vote, sir? Mr. Dole? Aye. Mrs. McEwen?
Aye.
Mrs. St. Aubin?
Aye.
This meeting tonight, it will be posted to our YouTube channel here at Monument Academy for 30 days moving forward. This will be a one-time thing. So, any other additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we will move forward, and the agenda is approved as distributed by unanimous consent. And we will move forward to school spotlight. Mrs. McEwen.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. This is amazing to see all of your faces here. Thank you for taking the time to come out and be with us. Obviously, we all deeply love and care about our school and our students and our teachers. So thank you for doing that with us. It's my joy to do the monthly school spotlight, and tonight actually we have two outstanding citizens that we get to honor. This is a first. But at the beginning of each monthly meeting, I get to honor someone from our community or staff who has gone above and beyond in their duties and responsibilities for our school. Nominees can be submitted by anyone in our school community, teachers, staff, parents, etc., anybody. Tonight, we want to shine a spotlight, firstly, on Mrs. Anna Broom. Mrs. Broom has been teaching at NA since 2009 and currently is our elementary PE teacher. She has taught in the elementary classroom, coached Odyssey of the Mind, as well as middle school basketball and volleyball, and now loves her newest position as elementary PE teacher. You will also see her helping in the car line and at the NA games. I want to read also, one of her peers wrote me a note and gave me permission to share this. I'm going to read this to you. This is, there you are. It says, Jim, this is from your peers, and I think it's important to read what others could give you. When you look up team player in the dictionary, you will find Anna Burns' photo. Anna is always a team player willing to help wherever she is needed, and she helps out with a smile on her beautiful face. She has helped out the front desk ladies. She helps all elementary teachers set up their grade books on Infinite Campus. She has substituted for second grade when no subs were available. Anna is always giving up her gym for school activities. Thank you for sharing. And she does it all with a smile. She has been both a classroom teacher and a specialist teacher at MA for many years. She has a huge heart for all of her students and fellow teachers. Anna makes London Academy a better place for students and staff. Would you guys please join me in honoring Mrs. Wynn tonight? All right. Now, our second honoree tonight is Mrs. Kendra Coleman. Kendra and her family have been with MA for several years now. She currently serves as the enrichment teacher at the West Campus. Over the years, I personally can remember seeing her all over the West Campus. And we have 3 floors at that school. She's everywhere. And always, she is smiling and working hard to bless others. Kendra has been a vital partner with our school through her service in the PTO. She has volunteered in multiple capacities, including coordinating room moms, along with being a room mom herself. She's organized our wonderful teacher appreciation events, which we have breakfast, snack carts, teacher lounge. She has helped to make beautiful and full of treats for our teachers. She has organized the Veterans Day ceremony and breakfast, and more recently, she has been a vital partner in the distance learning program. Thank you, Kendra, for pouring your heart into our school and community. We are a better community because of you. I appreciate your heart and your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. McKeown. Board, we will move on to our citizens' comments pertaining to agenda item section. Mr. Miller, I'd like to recognize our legal counsel, Mr. Brad Miller.
Mr. Graham, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a couple minutes. With your permission, may I turn towards the Hi. My name's Brad Miller. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for the school for a while. The library down on the west end, or the west end, right, is named after my mother-in-law. So I've got some association with the school historically. My kids, my own children are primarily educated at Classical Academy. My son, who was in Mr. Walker's 4th grade, is now a lawyer in my office. Did you know that? Josh is now a lawyer with just a meeting I got here late today. Why I'm silver haired, I'm not very silver tongued, I'm not a super glib lawyer, but I had a few things I wanted to say to this group in my house after an executive session with the board earlier this week. If I could just say a couple of preliminary words about some of the events that are going on here. I'm going to be just super blunt and candid because I think there's hard truths that need to be said. And so I'll start with, I'm hopeful that everyone here is prepared to engage in hard truths and say the things that need to be said. I'm certainly expecting that the board will do that. I'm going to through that. Couple of things. One, I'm going to read one because it's kind of lawyerly, and I just want to make sure I don't missay some words. Many in the staff and parent community have continued to dialogue online regarding the staff issue from the past summer. We hope the following will help to clarify this matter. First, the serious Title IX investigation concerning the AP position was initiated by the prior COO. This third-party investigation report compelled the school to take action. There was no option legally to not take action. Further, while the underlying issues and behaviors occurred and were reported under the previous administration, the resulting report and recommendations were necessarily acted upon by our new COO. These issues were not initiated by the new COO in any way. That's all that's going to be said on that issue. Second, this is where I get real candid and I get real hard. Mr. Holmes it's probably known that he is somewhat well traveled. He's been in multiple employment scenarios. That can be an issue of interest and concern. But what I will say, because I've seen evidence that there's dialogue about this concern, I'm a lawyer. I've worked closely with charter schools. I've been doing it for 20 years. I think I know the grounds pretty well. There's not an instance that I'm familiar with, and I'm pretty sure I would be, that involves him having left a position for anything having to do with interpersonal behavior involving other employees in any sort of direct matter. That would not be the case. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to put that out there. And then the last thing I wanted to say for is my TCA, the Costco Academy community, we really pride ourselves on our core virtues, our core values, and holding ourselves to a standard as parents and staff members and lawyers and even lawyers to standard. And as we do public comment, and when we do it there, and sometimes we've experienced some very hard things in that community, I found it really important to admonish everyone to speak from the heart, to speak from truth that you are personally aware of. Let's not talk about what we saw online. We're better than that as a community. We're better than that. We ought to be better than that as a society. But certainly as parents of kids here, with the sort of mission statement that we've got and expectations that we've got, I'm hopeful that there's not sort of gossipy sorts of pronouncements or things that you heard about, but it's things that you've experienced. That's valid and viable. The rest of it shouldn't be. It's particularly in a crowd like this where it's just going to go online from there. So I'm hopeful that we'll hold to that standard. Mr. Grant, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Let's go ahead and proceed forward with our citizen comments. Mrs. Clinton, I see that we have 6 individuals signed up to speak tonight.
Yes, and just as a reminder, if you have never come to a meeting and made public comment before, the board does not directly respond to questions upon your comment. So we take notes and we have contact information here. And if it's something that we feel compels a response from us, we will reach out at another time. So just be prepared for that if you're coming up with questions. Don't be frustrated by us just sitting here not responding. So our first public comment is from Karen Shanahan. Good evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Shanahan, just as a reminder, we have the 3-minute timer up here. We're not trying to be rude and shut you off, but
No
we're
problem.
just going to keep you with you. Thank you very much.
So, I have never had the opportunity to speak before. Karen
had an interesting faculty meeting last Friday, and it's disturbed a lot of us over at West Point. But I wanted to give a few positive suggestions going forward for teachers, and I hope that this follows along with your item on leadership. First, I wanted to basically challenge we focus on improving the culture and climate of both campuses, and I truly think that it can simply be done by little things like social gatherings off-site at restaurants or bowling alleys or even top walk. That seems to be the new place. There could be more Dean's Days in the middle of the work week. We have that. Thank you. There could be times where admin step in and give us an extra 20 minutes for a break, walk around the room, go and observe a colleague, get some new ideas for our classrooms. We could be celebrating birthdays. That kind of went away, unfortunately. We could be using those spotlight parking spaces. And something that's happening across the country is mental health days. And if we happen upon some snow days this year that don't get used, maybe we could incorporate that sometime. Okay, because it's already built in. Next, something that came up at the faculty meeting was an anonymous grievance process. And I would suggest that that be some kind of locked mailbox for the board. And no administration gets to see it. When you guys get to get a look at it, and you've got the idea, share it with the administration. I have never participated in any of these online surveys because my email is attached to it. So I'm uncomfortable with that. I would like to be able to type something up, put it in an envelope, put it in a box, and then it's just anonymous and gets taken care of. I wanted you to think some more about treating teachers more professionally. Two things, salaried employees in other places are allowed, they're allowed to have non-specific hours. And with the pandemic, working from home is very common. I think teachers sometimes need to ability as soon as class is over and decompress, and there's some things like that. The other thing was evaluation process. We should be not only evaluated in our classroom, but also evaluated on the things that we do outside of the classroom and teaching, like the things personally that I have done, curriculum committee. I've done student council and the food drive, and I help out in many different capacities. So there should be some kind of appraisal, and I haven't seen it at any school yet, except for the classroom evaluation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Shanahan. Is everyone able to hear when she's up here speaking? Okay. And I'm also working with, if this shut off whatever's above us. The HVAC, obviously. Mr. Holmes, do you have any response? Okay.
Make sure you're speaking like as close to the microphone as you can and come up for public comment. I have the mixer up as high as it will go for that microphone, so.
All right, Mrs. Stoltenberg, you are up next.
Thank you all for all you do. I know you're tired on many levels, and to add to it, Monday night was long and exhausting. We all know you have volunteered to lead, And I want you to hear loud and clear that your constant dedication to that commitment is seen and appreciated. I plan to come before you, as I have several times, to speak against moving the sixth grade class back to West Campus. Today, however, I find myself compelled to use my time to talk about something much more pressing. Our staff is hurting. Our teachers, administrators, and staff are suffering. Many have no public voice because their careers are on the line. They should not be forced to choose between working under tyranny or fighting for the jobs they love and risking their careers. They need your protection and they need it now. By now, the information has reached you. You have surely heard directly from many teachers and staff, just as I have, about how our new COO is running things, about the increased workloads without communication, emails that are blatant lies, bullying behind closed doors, staff standing up in meetings against deceptions, teachers afraid to speak out, attempts at accessing email lists, the PowerPoint email about budget cuts, including cutting staff, the changes into the heart of our school's work environment. Yet you ask for attestations from those who risk suffering the most if they speak openly. I have heard a staff survey went out earlier this week, and I applaud this first step in assessing the wounds of our suffering work culture. But more needs to be done. Today, I'm pleading that as you review our organizational structure, you want to initiate formal opportunity for anyone to ask for a private exit interview that does not involve anyone outside of the board and is discreet. I beg you also to design a way to reach out directly to teachers and staff and invite them to speak with you privately, including opportunities for them to reach you from their personal email and devices and meet away from school. Find a way to speak with them where no one need know that they have even spoken. And last, do not create a structure that funnels everything to you through just the COO. There needs to be balanced accountability. I know anything that isn't pursued is immediately a rumor. These are serious accusations, and you are wise to do your due diligence. I implore you to find ways to speak safely to teachers and staff yourselves. Give our teachers and staff their voice back. To anchor the gravity of what is happening, I'd like to finish by reading the names of the 9 good people we've already lost. Julie Seymour, Carol Skinner, Marty Benechique, Eric Graciola, Tandy Buckingham, Charlotte Davis, Janice Scala, Rachel Marin, and Deborah Capel. I shudder to think how many more will leave if we do not course correct. Thank you for hearing our comments and for your dedication and leadership. I've got copies of those list of ideas are there.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Stoltenberg. Next up on public comment is Mrs. Heather Ewing.
Good evening. First, I wanted to thank each of the board members for serving our school. It's times like these that this volunteer job can be excruciatingly painful. I appreciate each and every one of you for your commitment to Monument Academy. I also want to thank the parents who are attending and teachers to make their voices heard. This school was started by parents, and it is important for them to remain involved. For those of you that do not know me, we have been with MA for 11 years now. My daughter began kindergarten and she is now a sophomore. My son began in pre-K and he is now in 8th grade. This is what my kids have known for as far back as they can remember. Monument Academy has given my children top-notch education, and for most of these years, they have partnered with us as an extension of our family. Just a few years ago, we had problems with the former CEO, Don Griffin, who created quite the upheaval within the walls of the West Campus. It took a dedicated group of parents, and I believe some brave staff members, to finally bring to light the actions that were being swept under the rug and kept secret from many. I began attending board meetings regularly during that time. It took lots of work and patience for the school and board to build back the trust and confidence that had been broken with parents. I finally felt like MA was coming out on top and things were improving. With the recent resignations of several longtime staff, there has been a shift in the atmosphere. The very pillars that held strong through these tough times of a controlling and manipulative CEO, building a new school, a pandemic, quarantines, statewide shutdowns, remote learning, and new growth in staff added to the second campus are all gone. New staff and long-term substitutes have been hired to fill in the gaps. Many of them do not measure up to the high standards we have come to know and love at MA. This could be for many reasons: not enough training, not understanding the MA vision, or they're just glorified babysitters, because quality educators are hard to come by, especially when they are underpaid, overworked, and underappreciated by central administrators.
I've always defended Monument Academy, and we would like to finish out the 4.5 years we hope until both kids graduate. Recently, things that have come to light are genuinely concerning to us, and we may have to reconsider our choice to stay. If we do not see a change in this quickly, we may have 2 more empty seats to add to the growing number that have already decided to vacate. This will be a huge problem for the bond and phase 2 plan. This saddens me tremendously, but I can no longer defend MA if my kids' emotional and educational well-being is not their top priority. If this school is going to succeed, the blinders need to come off and focus more on this school providing the absolute best education and a nurturing emotional environment for these kids, instead of treating it just like a business and nothing more. These kids are suffering in ways that adults are not seeing. Drastic steps need to be taken before it is simply too late. Let us look back at the history of MA and choose not to repeat past mistakes. I will be watching and listening, and I will speak up when it becomes necessary. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Young. Public comments.
That's good enough. I want to say thank you to everyone who's working so hard for MA. I know that you would not be here and everyone else would not be here if you didn't care. I know you wanted what is best for the school and for individual students. I've been hearing the mission statement a lot lately, and something has dawned on me. It's not being fulfilled. The mission statement starts with providing a challenging, content-rich academic program with a positive learning environment. This isn't happening, at least as well last year. New teachers don't seem to be supported and taught how to teach the MA way with a classical education. Our child is bored and not learning. How can teachers teach well if they're unsupported? Who is supporting them? Who is their voice? Who's there for all the new teachers who are working hard? The second part is to emphasize respect, responsibility, and character. This seems to happen very well at the elementary level and seems to fall away at the junior high level. Junior high kids need it the most. They're in turmoil. They're in a lot of change. This doesn't seem to be happening when new teachers aren't being educated on how to pull in these characteristics that MA teaches and they're known for. It's also not necessarily a positive learning environment with all of the turmoil going on the core behavior. It seems that the more kids that attend MA, the more money that can be acquired. We need numbers, don't we, to build the high school. That sounds great, but sadly, this has created a major challenge. MA has traded quality for quantity. You lose quality, you lose quantity, and you cannot do. The catch-22, I know. You need students to build the school, but going this route has taken away so much loss of quality that you are now losing quantity also. I wanted the high school to be ready for my current 8th grader. I now see that that probably is not going to be available for her needs, and that's okay. I urge MA to decide what is more important. Building a high school as fast as possible, getting as many kids in as fast as possible, or keeping the quality education, the quality students, and the quality staff at MA to uphold the MA mission statement. Or do you want to lose the quality, build the high school, and then fix the quality later? What holds best for MA in the future? Their reputation? I urge you to bring MA back to quality. That is what MA has always been and what the community wants. I have no doubt that the high school will be amazing and full and be a great asset to the community. If you cannot use quality for quantity, you will never win that way. Bring back quality.
Thank you, Mrs. Hancock. And to Mr. Kevin Hancock. Your
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Hancock. I'm an attorney in this community. I've been around for several years, and actually I have probably a little bit more history with this than perhaps some of the boards, I don't know all of you, but I actually represented Monument Academy about 15 years ago under Bob Clark. And so I have a little bit of history with this school and an appreciation for what it does and what it was built for. I'm here to echo a little bit of what my wife said, but in a little bit of a different way. I do appreciate what Mr. Miller said with regard to the admonition about gossip and things that are said online and so forth. I think that that's very wise in saying that, but at the same time, I will say that gossip and rumors and things that are said online are sometimes born in truth and are born in reality. They may not fully pan out, but they are born in reality, born in things that actually do happen. So today, and as I understand it, you're here to consider, you're going to consider, or it appears that you've already considered, continuing to maintain Mr. Holmes as a CEO, and at least that's been a challenge to you at this point. My understanding is that Mr. Holmes has previously represented two other academies or two other charter schools and successfully grown those schools, to his credit. However, again, gossip is born in reality. It may not always come out that way. It may not come out that way on social media. But gossip is born in reality. If you are indeed trading quality for quantity, then I urge you, board, to consider what is your policy. Look into the policies and the things that have been said. Look into the ways that teachers have been treated, the ways you've lost 9 teachers or 6 teachers and 3 administrators in less than 6 months. There's a lot to be said for that. No other academy, no other board in this community has lost that many people in that short of a time. There is a reason for that. I urge you to explore that reason. And if that reason is you have traded quality for quantity, then I urge you, board, to reconsider. Reconsider that quality for quantity, because at the end of the day, you're here to serve the children and the students in this community. And someday they will be in your position. Let this moment decide for you how they're going to decide for their children and their future down the road. Be yourselves that exemplary citizenship and choose quality, not quantity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock. Ms. Alyssa Brooks.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kevin there. Hello, Alyssa Brooks. First of all, thank you for everyone, you guys, for serving on this board. It means a lot to us parents. We appreciate everything you guys do for us and these students. We really do. So I have 4 girls and been here for almost 12 years and loved every minute of it. Really, up until this year has been very difficult. And last year was difficult, but it was nothing like this year. And it's this deliberate, there's just an attack on this school, and I can feel it. There's an enemy attacking this school. And he can't have this school. This is our school. Okay? And the climate has changed. And I don't wish ill of this man sitting here, you guys, because he loves this school too. Okay? I don't wish ill, but the climate has changed. The climate has changed. You know what makes me love Monument Academy? Is those people sitting back there. All those teachers and the people that work here. That is why I'm here. And they are not being heard. They're not being heard. And I'm sorry. And I know you love them too, but you guys, they are not being heard. And that is a problem. And it's because these people are my friends. And I've heard directly, it's not gossip. That there is not communication. They share things and they're not being heard. That's why we're losing people. So even though you guys might have an idea of, hey, this is what we think is wrong, and you know, everybody has their own idea. What I'm hearing from not just 1 or 2 people, but many, that they are not being heard.
This is why we're here. These people I love, I can look back into that audience and look at all these people that I just want to cry. I love them so much. And I started as strangers, as a teacher with the first or second or third grader, and now they're my friends and my family. And my family is hurting. And I can't have it anymore. I need you guys to step up and do what you can for them. And I promise, even though if you say, oh, it's personal reasons, no, it's not. It's too coincidental. There's other things going on. So I just ask you as a board to really listen and what Ms. Shanahan said too, to have maybe anonymous grievances that they can come, because right now they are scared to death to speak up. And that is a problem, because we should all be able to share what's on our hearts. Because I want my sixth grader who's coming, she's gonna be sixth grade, I want her to go here with these people. These people need to be here. And I'm afraid after this semester, they may be gone. And I'm serious. And I can't lose any more of my family. So thank you for what you're doing. Please listen to the teachers. Thank you.
Mrs. Brooks, thank you very much. That appears to be the last of our public comments tonight. We will move to our statement from the board. Mr. Dole.
First off, good evening to everybody. I need a couple minutes to gather my own thoughts as I prepare this statement. I'm standing before you to speak on behalf of the board, and I want to make sure that I'm not putting words into their mouths, that I am truly speaking with a unified board. Thank you to, I believe it was six of you that gave your comments tonight. That takes courage, it takes strength, it takes honesty, and it takes truth. And sometimes we don't like to hear the truth, but we have to acknowledge it. Coming into tonight's meeting, the board was under the impression that there were 3 key areas of concern that would be heard tonight, and there are. There's extreme concern over the leadership of Mr. Merlin Holmes as the COO of Monument Academy. There's extreme concern, and this is all intertwined, as to the departure of staff that has been seen as of recent, specifically the 9 names that were called out earlier. And all of that culminates to the concern of the stability and therefore the viability of this institution. Angry, the same way, sorry. Tired, concerned, frustrated, fearful. This is something that's been building over several years. It's not just tonight. We've had facility expansions, pandemics, firings, loss of life, loss of key personnel, 3 top leadership changes. One of our comments tonight specifically said we've drifted off course. We have. It will be repeated tonight. As it said, it's been repeated amongst the community. Our mission statement says that we are established on a solid foundation of knowledge. Monument Academy emphasizes academic excellence, respect, responsibility, character, and exemplary citizenship. That is a mission statement that is held not only to our students, to our staff, our faculty, to our board, but to our parents. This board sits before you tonight, one at home online, to acknowledge that we share every concern that you've heard here tonight. At the heart of it, we're parents. We want the success of our kids. We want that academic challenge. We want accountability. We want discipline. We want our kids to be leaders. But we would be incorrect to sit here tonight and try to continue and point the finger at Mr. Holmes as the only reason as to why we sit here tonight. I am not saying that he is not part of the problem. We will address that later in tonight's meeting. What I'm going to do over the next, which I tried to practice in a few minutes, but it's going to take a while. I'm going to walk through the pain points that have gotten us to where we are today. I've only been on the board for now 2.5 years. It was supposed to be a board that supposedly I came in and we were a 45-minute meeting, right? You've heard us joke about that before. If you ever have a 45-minute board meeting in the future, you know when things are running smoothly, something's wrong. Prior to myself coming onto the board, this school had already started the vision of the campus that we sit in today. That campus was under the direction and vision at the time of an executive director who manipulated staff, faculty, parents, put into almost full practice a building that had absolutely no input from our staff or our faculty, for which we were to carry out our mission statement, educating our kids. It created an incredible atmosphere of distrust and perceived manipulation. That executive director was put on administrative leave. This will be the first of 3 changes that we will have in leadership over a 2.5-year period. How can we expect the school to do well when we have leadership change at that rate? Our deans at the time, they rose to the occasion under one roof at that point in time. They led the charge for our kids. As a board, we resolved to reestablish trust and transparency at all levels. Part of that process was implementing what we called the 360-degree hiring and review process. It wasn't just the board hiring the COO. Principals were involved, teachers were involved, direct reports of that position were involved. Most importantly, they were involved in the annual review process. This speaks to the point of having access to the board, whether it be through secrecy or any various processes or whatnot. But the board at that point in time realized that we needed to have more visibility on what our top leadership was doing with our institution. Nonetheless, we also got dropped in our laps a secondary school project that was about to break ground, again having no input. The board did not act quickly to hire a replacement for the executive director at that point in time. We did immediately pick up the pieces on the secondary campus. We did get valued teacher input. We did make changes to this building. We went through the hiring of the COO process. We even discussed the fact that we might have a CAO, which is a chief academic officer, and we might have a chief business officer. We wanted to make sure that the control of this institution was not in any single one hand on a day-to-day basis. The result of that was we found one applicant we felt that could actually wear both hats, and that by creating an appropriate process, we could create the transparency that we needed to the board, to the constituents, as to what's actually going on inside these walls. Under normal circumstances, that COO would have come into this institution and conducted a 90-day review process, understanding who we are, how we conduct businesses, who our relationships with are with. They would find inefficiencies. They would be expected to find those efficiencies and fine-tune processes. They would make change. Resistance to change is expected, but nonetheless, there would be change, and that's okay. Using names, Mrs. Christiana Herrera came into our building facing an environment of hostility, distrust. She didn't get a normal 90-day review process. She had to rebuild relationships locally with our staff. She had to rebuild relationships with our district. She had to rebuild relationships with our parents. She had to build a relationship of trust with the board. At the same point in time, she got her lap, the secondary campus. She had to continue the vision that was improperly implemented 2, 3, I don't know the right number, but it's years prior to her coming, picking up pieces from previous administrations. Forward 2 months, pandemic. We're all familiar with it. We all hate it. We all live in it today. But nonetheless, we all survived through an unprecedented year that hopefully we all never go through again. We had many emergency meetings to implement at that point in time what would become a school-wide distance learning program. It wasn't perfect by no means. But our staff rose to the challenge, and we did a good job. The board was charged. Yes, they did. They did a fantastic. The board was charged with authorizing a $760,000 loss for the upcoming school year. Fortunately, we didn't end that far into the hole. Nonetheless, in the midst of the pandemic, through the advocacy of the parents, we opened this facility on time. We also opened 4 learning platforms. I think we can all agree that 4 learning platforms was too much. But nonetheless, the break that our teachers should have had coming into that school year, they spent putting together those platforms and being ready for our kids. As I say things tonight, again, I say them in truth for transparency. One of the things that we don't talk about and we don't acknowledge, and to some degree you may question as to why we say this tonight. For years, we had a well-oiled machine at our West Campus. Everybody under one roof, K through 8, we had an impeccable team. Sometimes we even heard the deans referred to as yin and yang. They complemented each other amazingly well, strengths and weaknesses as we all have. This building created a physical barrier in that relationship. And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the physical distancing alone helped to bring out weaknesses in their leadership. And I don't say that to slight any of the staff. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and therefore, as those weaknesses are understood, we have to rise to the challenge to figure out how to overcome those weaknesses. We do not believe as a board that we overcame the weaknesses that have set this campus specifically up for success. We do feel that we have a sound campus. Does that mean there's not problems? No. But we do believe we have a sound campus, specifically at the West Campus. It is lacking the top leadership today. The top leadership at a campus is not a COO. The top leadership at a campus is a principal. The COO drives the vision of the school. The COO drives the future of the school. They are not to have their hands in the weeds on a day-to-day basis. roller coaster of emotions, struggles and hurdles through the pandemic, staff being uncomfortable, students being uncomfortable, parents being uncomfortable. Mind you, that they were uncomfortable being in the building. They were uncomfortable being out of the building. This year netted, fortunately, only a $300,000 loss as opposed to the $760,000 loss that we originally offered. Unbeknownst to you, until tonight, you did not know that you had a COO, and I say this respectfully, and I wish the best for it, that due to health challenges, could not leave this institution from within the walls that we sit today. This institution was led via Zoom. She did her best, and ultimately, she recognized that for the viability, but more importantly, to hold true to the core as to who we are and what our parents require of us, she put in her resignation and she moved on to be with them. We accept that. We want for her. We don't want anybody to come to work hating work. We don't want our teachers coming to the school hating the school. Work is not supposed to be not fun. There are days when we see this light shine incredibly strong, and right now we're in a period of extreme darkness. One of our comments said that there is an evil force or an evil cloud. We believe that. For charter schools in general, there is an evil force that is working against us. Teachers are underpaid. They are overworked. When you think about who we are as a charter school, the challenges that we face, the resistance to be, for lack of better terms, the stepchild in the public school system, the way that we have to spend our funds, that we have to fund our own facilities, that the general public schools do not have to. It's amazing to sit here and think about the challenges that we still overcome on a day-to-day basis. We lose our second COO, technically only our first COO under that title. We lost an executive director and then we lost our first COO, all within a 2-year period. The board put into place again the 360-degree hiring process that resulted in Mr. Merlin Holmes. At the time of hiring Mr. Merlin Holmes, the confidence level was such that we knew that this gentleman was the right person to carry out the vision, not the day-to-day operation, but the vision. And we stand before you today to tell you that we still feel that he is the right person to carry out the vision. He is not the person to carry out the day-to-day operations of the school. This campus and the West Campus lacks a completed organizational chart. We have got to fix it. When Mr. Holmes started his role as the COO, which I believe was July 1st of this year, as it's already been spoken to, he inherited immediately what would be perceived to be an indication as to his leadership style was the firing of our athletic director and assistant principal. From the board, we need to emphasize that he inherited this problem. The case had already been run. The result of the termination was already known. And unfortunately, this gentleman got to carry that out. I can see why that might cast a bad shadow upon him, not knowing in the background that this had all taken place under the previous administration. We move forward, we hire a second principal, of which Mrs. Seymour was part of that process. Again, it was not a hiring done just by the COO. Before our doors open, We have a principal for each campus, we have assistant principals for each campus, and we have a COO. We have a completed organizational chart. We are set up to have 2 campuses that should be running smoothly, understanding that we still have growth pains at the East Campus that are going to bring challenges to processes. They're going to bring challenges to accountability. They're going to bring challenges to discipline. Just days before we open the doors, we sadly lose our West Campus principal. The COO made a promise to that staff, and it was acknowledged by the board that they would not move forward in hiring a new principal. In hindsight, this is a mistake. There is a time for grievance, and there is a period that should be allotted, but it has gone too long. That will be corrected tonight. As of late, we all sit here tonight trying to understand the resignation of Julie. Julie's been with this institution for years. She's beloved by so many people, inclusive of myself. I understand that from rumors and whatnot, there may be a basis of truth. But I also have to acknowledge that Ms. Seymour had a direct line of contact to the board at any point in time. She has all of our personal contact information. And I'm not saying that there weren't other issues, but until I hear it from Julie Seymour, I can take it. The board cannot interpret her comments, her email, and the phone call that she had with President Ryan Grant, where she has stated that she resigned for personal reasons. I understand that there might be more behind that. But I will not, and the board will not accept hearsay. We will continue investigations. We will look into matters. We do hear the concerns. We do meet with teachers. We are overworked as a board. But we love this institution and we're going to continue to do that. Over the last week, this board has fielded hundreds, literally hundreds, of emails, texts, phone calls, meetings, 6-hour executive session on Monday night, consultation with council, understanding that it is paramount that at this point in our juncture, you have all the facts before you. Some of this may change your mind as to why we sit here the way we do today. And for some of you, it may not, I understand. But at the very least, we have to acknowledge that there have been a multitude of pain points that have gotten Monument Academy to where they are tonight. It is not just about the last 5 months of leadership at this institution. From those emails, text messages, phone calls, some of the findings of this board account for a lack of structural accountability, a lack of structured discipline. That's true for our students and that's true for our staff. As we get through our business items tonight, Mr. Graham will read a letter to you that, boy, I hope it opens your eyes when we speak to accountability and discipline. It comes from a student at this campus, a brave student. Communication. It's an F. Although in today's world, I'm still trying to understand how we grade our daughter's assignments and what the different letters mean sometimes. But for all of us in this room, we're of the age that we know what an F means. And it's just not from the COO. It is from the COO, but there's others that are failing in communication. We need to do better. We do have communication processes outlined in our handbooks. And to a large extent, I think we failed to comply with those. We have an extreme resistance to change in processes. Growth, it brings cause for change. We cannot expect to use the same processes at an elementary school that we use at a high school level. Financial stability. Sitting on the finance committee, I can tell you that this school is in a good financial position. Efficiencies of the organization. There's areas that we can tighten up. There was a comment made earlier tonight that there was a presentation given, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, about the fact that the board had already acknowledged publicly that we forecasted a $700,000 deficit for next year due to the structure of our bond payments. The board tasked the COO and the CFO to look into our financial projections to understand the assumptions. Are we being too conservative? Is it really not 700,000? Is it 300,000? How are the URSA funds and every other possible fund coming from government due to the pandemic? How do they play out? Are we realistic in our projections? Are we efficient in our processes? And that can be scary. Many of our staff translated that to job cuts. To my understanding, at no point in time did we say that there would be job cuts, but a fear was instilled upon our teachers. That should not have been the case. So take some time to paint a lot of history as to how we got to where we are today. The question is, how do we get back on track? And we need to get back on track very, very quickly. Tonight, the first thing that we ask of you, collectively, we need to acknowledge that Monument Academy has strayed from its mission statement. We are to be established on a solid foundation of knowledge. We are to emphasize academic excellence. We are to be respectful. We are to exude responsibility. And we to be characters of exemplary citizenship. We're to be that to ourselves. We're that to be that to our community. And we're to be that for our kids. Communication needs to be key. Communication processes need to be put in place. If you're reaching out because of job loss, that needs to stop. A completed organizational chart. It's a must. In our discussion items tonight, we will outline the organizational chart, and directives will be issued to Mr. Merlin Holmes to fill certain positions under a directed timeline. Along with the organizational chart, Mr. Merlin Holmes will be charged with ensuring that we stop this process of wearing multiple hats across our employees. You're tired, you're underpaid. You don't need to wear multiple hats. It is a financial institution. It does take dollars to run. I understand that, and sometimes we lose track of that. But this board recognizes that the structural component of the organizational chart is going to cost dollars. It's needed, not just today, but for the build out of the high school. And we're willing to authorize those funds. Principals will be the leaders of each campus, not the COO. COO is the visionary of the big picture, not daily operations. And finally, we will establish accountability, and we will establish a discipline structure that is greatly lacking, that is greatly needed, and that is greatly wanted, specifically at this campus. Having said all of that, thinking of all the challenges that we have overcome, all of the challenges that we still face tonight, think about the beautiful facility that you do sit in. Think about the vision that is before you for Monument Academy. the fact that we will break ground next year on the second academic wing for this building, that we will break ground on a multi-purpose full-size athletic field, that we will break ground on a full-size gym. And yet the vision continues for a full-size aquatic facility and a full-size theater performance room. That's the vision. We will get there. We will make changes tonight. I hope that this board, through its actions and discussions tonight, will answer the concerns that you have. And most importantly, I hope that your eyes have been opened to truth, to the challenges that have been put before us, and the fact that the resilience of this institution has overcome so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Let's move to our next letter on the agenda. Statement from the COO. Mr. Holmes.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. As a former teacher, I usually speak without a prepared statement that I'm going to read from it. I want to start by acknowledging that change is difficult, and that Monument Academy has experienced many staff changes during the past year, and especially the last few months. I hear the frustration with these changes and the comments that were made tonight. I share those frustrations. I also acknowledge that some of the comments are directed at me personally. One of the ideas I believe in is continuous improvement for the students, the staff, and the school. This continuous improvement also applies to me. I will take the comments from tonight and work to improve. For those that have been offended by something I've done or said, I apologize for not being better, for not doing better. I assure you that it was not intentional. I value each person as an individual, even if we have differences of opinion or philosophy. One of the offers that I have made to staff since I arrived here is that I was open to criticism, and I gave them permission to come and talk to me if they felt I was making mistakes or doing something wrong. I was very willing to meet with them and hear them out. I told them, even if you need to yell or cuss and scream and let me have it, that's fine. And a few of our faculty have said some very, very challenging things to me. They've taken advantage of that permission. Parents, I give you the same permission. If you need to come talk to me, my door is open. Let's schedule a meeting. You can be direct with me. And I would appreciate, and this is what I've shared with staff, I would appreciate hearing things from you directly, rather than hearing about them through social media, rumor mills, or other platforms. But again, parents, I welcome you to talk to me as well. My schedule gets pretty busy, so scheduling an appointment is the best way to make sure we have time to really give your concerns the time that it needs. And like I said, I've been doing administration work for a long time. I have pretty thick skin. I'll be okay. So if you need to, please come talk to me, and I'll do what I can to resolve any of those issues. Moving forward, we'll be scheduling additional opportunities for parents to dialogue with administration. Both myself and the new administrations that are in principal and assistant principal roles. This will allow time for families to get to know administration that's new to Monument Academy. These meetings will take a couple of different formats. Some of the meetings will be primarily focused on discussing upcoming plans and what the future looks like for Monument Academy. And then other meetings will be mostly for the purpose of getting to know one another. And I hope that you'll come out in large numbers for those meetings as well, so that we can work on the future. To close, just one more paragraph. In some of my recent communication, I have emphasized a couple of things that I still believe are key to the future of Monument Academy. Being student focused is very important. The school is designed to provide a great educational opportunity for our students, and that is paramount to the success Monument Academy has had and the success that it'll have in the future. In addition, the mission of Monument Academy has been brought up several times tonight. And I believe that that mission has forged the excellence that Monument Academy has produced. And I believe it is a key component for a fantastic future. If we can pull together, be student-focused, and mission-driven, I am confident in the result. And that result will be the Monument Academy will be one of the best K-12 charter schools in Colorado. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. We're going to move on to our consent agenda. To approve our minutes from November 11th and approve our minutes from the executive session on December 6th. Both those minutes have been distributed to the board electronically. Do you have any corrections to those minutes? I do have one correction for you, Mrs. Clinton. I hereby move that the December 6th minutes be corrected to show that the motion to adjourn from executive session was at 11:51 p.m. and the motion to adjourn from open session was 11:57 p.m. The board will probably notice in the minutes that the times are swapped on those two. Can you second to that motion?
A second the motion.
Any discussion on that motion? Any objection to said motion? No, the motion carries. So with that said, any further objection on approving the minutes for December 6th? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. And our next item on the consent agenda is approve the next meeting date, January 13th, 2022. And next we'll approve the location. Depending on the term. Here in the gym. Is there any objections to January 13th, 6 p.m. in the campus? And our meeting date, time, location is established. Next, we will move into reports of administration and committees. Mr. Holmes, do you have a COO report for this evening? Okay.
Just real quickly, some highlights from the last month. We held interviews on December 7th for additional administrators here at East Campus. We've identified a top candidate out of that position that Mrs. Thomas and I will be meeting with tomorrow. The taco about high school night was held for our current 8th graders and their families. I think we had about 70 or 80 in attendance. I'm trying to find Amy if that's right. Okay. About 70 or 80 families. It was a good meeting, and we had a good time talking about the future of our high school program. We are moving forward with plans to expand our high school athletic program. We met with our current coaching staff at the junior high to talk about those plans and make sure that we have their input into how we're moving forward. We are announcing that we will do girls volleyball next year will be added, as well as boys basketball, possibly girls basketball, and I think we are going to launch cheer for high school as well. So very excited to be expanding our high school athletic program. Our AD, Mr. Chris Hale, and I met via Zoom with CHASA to talk about our membership application process. The next time that they will be allowing applications is January of 2023. But there's a lot of boxes we need to check as we move forward through that process. We have new PE teacher candidates were interviewed, and the top candidate was selected there as well. That is also meeting with Mrs. Thomas and I tomorrow. We worked with the foundation and the finance committee to reach agreement with Mr. Russ Caldwell to help us move forward with our financing. He is charging us $1 for those services. As a friend, both to me and to Monument Academy, he's going to help us out with that process. And we're moving forward with phase 2 as quickly as we can. At the East Campus, here at this campus, boys basketball finished a very, very successful season. The A team finished in first place in the regular season and was runner-up in the playoffs. Our B team went undefeated, and C team won all their games except one. And I will tell you, in that one game, they actually played mostly the B team from the team they lost to, because the same guys showed up for the B team game that beat our C team. So that was kind of interesting. This campus is scheduled to do Capturing Kids' Hearts professional development training January 4th and 5th. And for those of you that have East Campus students, that means your students get an extra day of vacation over the holidays. And hopefully you've seen that announcement, and we'll keep putting that out. Girls basketball tryouts were held this week with approximately 30 girls trying out for the team. So we're very excited to see that participation. West Campus had a wonderful Thanksgiving program put on by our music teacher in 3rd grade. It was a big turnout and an awesome program. Our PTO put on a craft fair with student-made crafts that they sold at the fair. The gym was busy the entire hours of the operations. The students were very supportive of each other, had a lot of parental involvement, and this was a phenomenal, awesome activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Board, is there any questions for Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes, for anybody that doesn't have clarity, can you explain CHASA?
CHASA is the Colorado High School Activities Association, and it oversees the high school competitions in athletics and arts as well. So competitions, band competitions, orchestra, most athletics as well. And to really participate in those sports and activities, you need to be a member of CHASA because they're kind of the only game going. It is a very extended process that happens. They try to run it in 2-year cycles so that for sports, your scheduling, you schedule away at home, and that's why they do it in 2-year cycles. And so that will be, hopefully we'll be a member of that organization soon. A lot of the schools that are in our middle school league are also members of CHASA for their high school program, and so we have connections there, and hopefully the membership process will be fairly smooth.
Ms. Holmes, I have a quick question about just an update on clubs and just if there's anything to update from the East Campus, but also in terms of West Campus. I know the communication was sent out to all of the parents that there's been a lot of interest in having after-school clubs. I know my boys are really hoping for a chess club and a Lego club, but we are not looking to burden our faculty with extra work. So we've asked parents to step up, and if you have the time, the desire, talent, if you're an engineer and you could do a robotics club, something along those lines, to offer to email the school and say that you would like to lead a club, and then they match you up with a faculty member. I don't know if we've had anybody respond to that yet, but with this project, it's worth mentioning and pointing that out again.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Walker's ready to receive your call.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
So you said that they've had 4 people step up to offer to help, correct? To lead clubs, and you want more? Correct. They want more, parents. The kids came up with about 20 different things they would like to see. So, you know, the more we can do that, especially coming out of the pandemic year where we just haven't had anything. I know as parents, we can look at our schedules and determine where we can fit in and, you know, every other week be able to host a chess club or something along those lines and provide that for our kids. And just get matched up with the faculty member to have that space within the facility as well. So think about that.
Board, any further discussion? Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes? Mr. Brocklehurst, give us your CFO report, please.
All right, we are we're 5 months into the fiscal year, which is about 42% of the year. Revenue for November was $921,000. For the fiscal year, we're at 4.5 million, which is roughly 40% of the annual budget. The variance there in revenue is due to time and again on grants when those are received. We had a few grant payments over last month, so we are receiving those. Expenses for the month of November were $861,000. For the fiscal year, we're at 3.5 million. That's about 31% of the budget. Expense variance is purchase services, repairs and maintenance, and equipment purchases are lower than budgeted for the month. For the month of November, we have a net income of $60,000. To date, we have a net income of $934,000. Compare that with last year, we were at $400,000 net income. A little update on the financial audit. Still waiting for the final numbers there. I've got a draft in my email box that I'm looking at right now, but we are a little close. So I think in January we said that we'll have the auditor out to talk us through that report. I'm excited. I'm sure you are too. Just an update, we have been, as directed by the board, looking over the 5-year forecast. Mr. Holmes and myself, Finance Committee, have identified some areas. We're able to bring that number down, and we'll continue to keep working on that. Look for avenues that will help get us where we need to be. I had some other highlights in the report, but are there any questions that I can answer for you?
So we'll be prepared for January 13th, auditors to come in and give a formal presentation. And that being set up right now for you.
Yes, they're aware that I could tell them January 13th, but they're excited, of course, to present that. 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, under an
Hour to go through it.
Under 30 minutes is better.
Yeah. I'll let them know.
Board, any further discussion from Mr. Brocklehurst from the CFO report? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, moving along to our committee's report, Mrs. St. Alban, are you able to give us a update?
Can you hear me? Again? Okay. I am.
Just 1 second.
Are we, Are you asking for the Highway 105 update?
Microphone in front of the screen to see if that works.
Try that.
Is that better? Yes? Are you asking me for the Highway 105 update? Okay. Hello, everyone. I want to start just by congratulating and thanking the staff and parents and the students at the West Campus. The new car line procedure is running as smoothly as possible at this time. We are still waiting for the completion report from the traffic study that was done on day 2 of the new car line. That report will, when it's completed, will be sent to county, which will in turn coordinate with CDOT to determine the retiming of the traffic lights. We do believe that should help somewhat improve the morning car line situation, but we are at the mercy of the traffic consultant who's doing the report there. We also had a meeting with the county lead on the Highway 105 project this week. The county's consultant on the project met with the Colorado Department of Public Safety on Wednesday, November 24th, to discuss the recirculation plans that the county's presented for Monument Academy. We received their feedback on the plan, and the county will make necessary adjustments to the plan before it goes, before it's finalized. At this time, Monument Academy will hire an independent firm to review the plans before a agreement is signed with the county or the plans are finalized. So that is where the project stands at this time.
Board, any discussion? Hello? Working on this one.
I do not have a report for the committee this month.
Southwest, we think Chris, she's gonna be back up.
Try that again.
We have,
I've got a few. You're just gonna have to leave me mic'd. Are we on SAC West? Okay. The SAC West committee did not meet this week. We postponed our meeting till next week because the survey is currently in progress. And so we will meet next week to discuss the results of the mid-year survey. And I just would like to encourage parents to fill that out. The survey went out to parents through the Links News. And if you can please take a few minutes just to participate in the survey, we truly appreciate your feedback. And that is a way that the school can receive feedback over time and look at results and trends and see how we have improved or may need to still improve.
Megan, when is the deadline for the West Campus SAC survey?
I believe it is tomorrow, Friday.
thank you, Ms. St. Albert.
Okay, continuing on for SAC East, we have a SAC committee for both school campuses. As you guys know, the survey has gone out for both the middle school and the high school, and the responses are coming in, and they're just awesome. I just want to commend our community. You guys are doing a great job getting those in. Thank you for taking the time. I know we're all busy, but it means a lot to our school to get your feedback. And this is one of the unique ways that MA provides for parent voices to be heard. So thank you for partnering with us, our principals and teachers in that way. If you haven't already, please complete the survey. Help your student earn a college jersey day. Middle school only needs 29 more, and that was as a couple days ago, I believe, so we might even need less than that. And high school has already earned their college jersey day and only needs 16 more to gain their cozy day. You can see the Links News for more information on that. And the results will be posted on the board webpage in January once everything has been compiled. And I just want to say thank you to the SAC committee members for your time and service. and your effort on that project. And the deadline for the East Campus survey will be closed on Thursday, December 16th. So we have 1 week extra. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. McEwen. Any discussion on the board? That moves on to me, governance. As you see tonight in the items required discussion action, as we stated at the last couple of meetings. Tonight, so we will get into that once we get into board discussion action items. We'll continue with our obviously systematic review that I say at every meeting, to look through each policy, and probably towards the springtime, the intent of the governance committee is to take a look at the staff handbook policies as well. That's not something that's ever been looked at, and so we want to start looking through those, which will obviously be a arduous task, but we're going to take that challenge on. That is my report for governance. Any questions on that? Mr. Dole, you are up with finance, so.
Not much to report on the finance committee, as Mr. Brocklehurst alluded to. We continue to work alongside our CFO and our COO to better understand our budget for the upcoming year. As you previously heard, both of us announced that we did discover that due to the bond payments and the way that they're structured, we have a $700,000 deficit next year. And I can assure you that the number has been greatly reduced. At this point in time, we're not prepared to share the details as to how we've gotten there. But I also want to, because of just the atmosphere out there tonight, I also want to make a comment, Mark, and please back me up on this just to the extent possible. We're not looking to cut positions. For those of you that may have taken that presentation the wrong way, that is not how we're going to resolve a $700,000 deficit. We're doing the best we can. Mark and Mr. Holmes are doing the best that they can to be creative and figure out how we do that, changes of assumptions, et cetera. So again, I just want to comment on fear that our teachers, our staff might have with respect to that number as we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Any discussion, questions from Mr. Dole? Mr. Bushkowski, we are to you with buildings and facilities.
Thank you, Ryan, but no report.
Moving on to Ms. Clinton with the volunteer committee.
We held a meeting right before Thanksgiving break, and we are still in discussions on what software program we're going to pursue for a volunteer portal. So I'm still working to find a good solution to centralize everything and have an end user option so that our parents can easily find all of the opportunities at both campuses and be able to see how many hours they've contributed and easily push out communication to you as well as new opportunities are posted. In the meantime, we do have the signups for lunchroom and recess, helping out in the art room. Any of those opportunities are in the library are on our volunteer tab, and those are for West Campus, East Campus. We have Char Sellers and Jessica Labs have stepped up to help put together signups, and right now they're focusing on Carline and some other ways that they can help just get parent involvement at the East Campus as well. So when you go to our main website, there is in the top right, it actually says volunteer there, and that's where all of those signups are for now. And then I post about it a lot on the parent pages. So sorry, but I mean, it's such a great way to be involved, and you really help the teachers, and especially at recess. That is a great opportunity to help them out and just have extra eyes and be able to engage with the kids as well. So hopefully next month I'll have more information on a program, but we're just trying to find what will work best with our safety features that we need at the campus as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Clinton. Good. All right, we'll move on to Mrs. St. Aubin, Resource Development, which is our Athletics Committee.
All right, again, Wendy Breathauer is putting together a committee right now to plan a fundraising event for Monument Academy. And Wendy and Josh Breathauer in the past raised money through a group called Safety Solutions. And this was a fundraising event that helped to do a lot of, implement a lot of safety necessities at the West Campus. This year, partly due to the budget deficit that Chris has mentioned, we asked Mrs. Brethar if she would be willing to do a more cohesive fundraising event that would speak more to the widespread needs at Monument Academy, including safety, but also teacher salaries and just anything else that we as a board deem necessary. Parents, this is something that a lot of charter schools do. It's something Monument Academy has never really consistently done. And it's something that we are looking at making an annual event. So if you are interested in joining this effort in this committee, please reach out to either the board through our email, or Mrs. Brethauer has put a flyer in the Links News asking for volunteers. So please, if you have a gift in that area, we would truly appreciate your help. The event is going to be in April of this year, and I think it will be at the Boot Barn. So we will have more information on that in January after the committee has its first meeting.
Any questions? That completes our reports of administration and committees. We will get into items requiring discussion and action. And start with board response to leadership concerns. Board, I have going to our MA community and staff, since November 5th, the date of Seymour's resignation, you have made your voices clearly heard through phone calls, emails, text messages, and in-person meetings. We thank you for your passionate pursuit of truth and continued commitment to discovering what is going on inside our beloved school. Please know the board hears you loud and clear. We have been working diligently to discover the extent of your many concerns. As we continue to ascertain the truth, we understand the time sensitivity and requests for urgency to bring forth immediate solutions. Unfortunately, these solutions will take time, for there is no immediate fix to the numerous concerns we are facing as a school. Our staff and community are hurting right now, and we know there is a very real and palpable pain because of all the change and sudden loss. We are hearing how incredibly overworked and overtasked so many of our teachers are. We knew that last school year presented many challenges to our teachers and staff, but it is very evident that those burdens have not lightened this year either. To our teachers, we see you, we hear you, and we want to bring forth healing to Monument Academy. As we discuss the leadership of the COO, I have firm conviction that it's of the utmost importance to share the perspective of the student at the East Campus, because ultimately we are all here to ensure the continued education of our students, but we must bring forth help to support our teachers and staff. This student will remain anonymous, but I thank this student for their unsolicited willingness and conviction to come forth and share this letter. I have been given permission to share this with you tonight. To begin, the work ethic I've noticed at this school is below the standard. The teachers do not push deadlines hard enough, and the grades don't matter to the students, so they don't get their work done. When they come to class with none of the work completed, they make excuses, and the teachers allow them to have an extension. This does not prepare them for life in any way to give them any high school experience. We are mixed with middle schoolers, so we are treated as middle schoolers. High school naturally comes with much responsibility, and the high school students here are given very little responsibilities. We can't expect any growth in maturity or personality if the students are handed everything in high school. If they were given responsibilities, I believe they would learn to balance their social and academic lives, which currently is not a success trait I see present in most students. I grew up attending this character-first school, so I can say from experience that the expectations have dropped drastically. The character-first values are not enforced in the students' academic careers, therefore the students do not behave according to these values. With the birth of a new school, there will be bumps and bruises along the way. However, this does not exempt the administration and staff from doing everything in their power to build it up from the start. When I see an issue presented to the school, they seem to not know how to handle it, and they blame it on account of the school still developing. While the high school is new, that does not make it all right for those high school students to have to sacrifice their education to be the trial period. At Monument Academy, the expectations used to be set very high, so high that students could almost never reach it. But because the bar was raised so high, they excelled to meet the expectations. This is what set MA students apart. The amount of drama and gossip that affects this school is unlike anything I've ever experienced. This ties back to the lack of work ethic in the students because they don't try to excel in their classes. So instead, they cause drama to keep themselves occupied. This leads to their work not getting done because they are too focused on their social lives. For these reasons, I don't believe that this school is for me anymore. I hope this honest point of view can help improve the future of this school. Understand that this board is here to help, but we must bring overall context to the numerous and separate issues we are hearing as a board. We have heard that this board is not being transparent and not listening. The truth is, we are listening to everything and everyone, but not everything and everyone aligns with what they see as their new concerns. Therefore, it is very important that we share other perspectives and understand that we all have a part in addressing these issues. Again, we know that our staff is hurting, and they have been through so much pain caused by so much change. I would be remiss to say, if we do not course correct now, and establish a solid foundation that aligns with our mission for this school, then we are not going to have a high school in the years to come. This leads into my next segment. Let's talk about our current financial situation. The approaching 22-23 fiscal school year presented us with a $692,000 deficit due to a $1.4 million step increase on our bond amortization payments here at this campus. In addition, in a little over 3 years from now, when we start the fiscal school year of 2025-2026, there is a $29 million balloon payment for this campus. In order to stay solvent, we must refinance out of this current bond. If we are unable to demonstrate and show financial solvency moving into next fiscal school year, there will be no refinance of this bond in the next year, and MA will be facing odds as we approach that balloon payment. I understand that this propagates consternation and fear, but it is true. Let's further talk about capacity issues. This campus has already hit capacity. Our teachers have made this very clear to us as a board, and we still need to bring 2 more grade levels in to finish out the high school. As we have heard multiple times, the East Campus was developed without input from teachers, staff, students, and MA stakeholders. Now we must fix this very real issue by determining how to build out phase 2, which must have a regulation-sized gym, a new high school wing, and some other things that we need to present. For if we are not able to support athletics at this campus, and we are not able to address capacity issues, we will not have a viable high school because our students will go elsewhere. We brought Mr. Holmes on to be a COO with a vision and a direction to help address these big bucket issues with MA. He has been thrust into other roles due to the untimely and devastating passing of Mr. Charlie Richardson and the sudden resignation of Ms. Julie Seymour. We understand and acknowledge that Mr. Holmes' communication style and lack of communication are causing additional issues to include people feeling as though they are dismissed, unappreciated, and not heard. This board will address that with Mr. Holmes. In the midst of the enormous tasks and challenges we are facing, Mr. Holmes is doing the job of COO, not principal, by helping us move forward with phase 2 and working very closely with our CFO and this board to help navigate the current financial need to refinance. I know at this point, some parents are questioning if Monument Academy is the right choice for their children. I get that, and I understand that, because I asked myself that same question leading up to tonight. With all that said, this volunteer board has put our families, our businesses, and our personal lives on hold while we continue the laborious and time-intensive task of getting to the crux of these issues and bringing forth real and sustainable solutions so that we may all be part of building an unshakable foundation where our teachers, students, and staff can continue to grow. This board has committed and dedicated ourselves to this calling because we understand that all of our children's futures are at stake. Excuse me, I'll take a break real quick. This board is here to tell you tonight that failure is not an option. Ultimately, everything that we are doing as a board is to fulfill our mission of providing a challenging, content-rich academic program, but we must reestablish a solid foundation in order to emphasize academic excellence, respect, responsibility, character, and exemplary citizenship. This is going to take time, and I cannot emphasize enough that MA needs grace, patience, continued support, and praise. We are here to serve, and we will continue to serve, but this board desperately needs everyone to understand that if we are going to be successful as a school, we have to chart a course that is going to challenge each of us, and in doing that, Monument Academy will bring forth the leaders of tomorrow. Board, as we get into further discussion on leadership concerns, my recommendation to this board is that in addition to any directives we give tonight to Mr. Holmes, that we form a board sanctioned subcommittee that is given full authority to move forward on vetting and hiring an executive coach to further delve into the leadership and personnel concerns of this campus. This assessment would provide us with a very thorough and detailed report that gives us as a board a more defined understanding of the current communication issues, cultural issues, climate issues, and collaboration issues. I will open this up to discussion for the board.
No, look at me. Let me ask a question. Ryan, if we proceed forward with this consultation, I'm under the impression that in trying to understand the atmosphere that we live in today, that our faculty lives in today, we're also trying to understand that we need to solve this problem of our COO leading the school. The COO is the leader. Will this process allow us to understand better that we're right in saying the COO needs to stay out of the day-to-day operations and fully charge the division? Or will it also shed light on what day-to-day operations the COO is supposed to be involved in?
Ultimately, the way this would work if we did bring in a third-party consultant, a professional executive coach / consultant, we would dictate what we were looking for. Essentially, the way I see this is this would be an assessment to come in here and further delve into, as I stated in my report, that we need to discover the deep-seated issues that we may not know about, that maybe we're hearing about, but we have nothing to validate with. From there, it would be up to the board to take that report and determine what we're going to do with this. But this is simply just to bring in a third-party individual to assess the current climate, the current culture, the lack of collaboration, the lack of communication that we are consistently hearing. And ultimately, is a discovery mission.
Do you have a timing on the discovery?
So that's going to be up to the board. If we establish a subcommittee tonight, I would say that we need to have 2 board members to start vetting 2 or 3 consultants maybe, and from there, we would have to more or less determine how quickly they can do this. Obviously, we have Christmas break coming up. I would like to do this as quickly as possible. The process would probably take about, let's just say, a week, and that individual that we hire would come in and probably the board could have a say over this, who all that person needs to talk to. But by estimation, we this building, and those individuals would be asked questions. Those questions would be asked in a way that would keep them from being honest. So then when you get that report, and we have some discussion.
Can I ask a question?
course.
Chris, thank you. A couple things, just practically, one, will this coach, once she produces their findings, do they include in those findings solutions? And secondly, what is something like this cost?
The cost is going to be determined on how much time it really comes down to, how it would be something that we would have to have a discussion. Where the two members that are on the subcommittee would be able to say, okay, this is the direction that the board wants to take this in. Let's therefore come up with some type of cost analysis on this. Regarding the solutions portion, no, this is an assessment. Now you can further engage services to try to bring forth coaching. At this point, this is just simply an assessment of our current.
Okay, and so then who does this person dialogue with about the findings? Who's involved in that?
This is the board members.
Those are two board members. And then where do you go from there?
Well, we will be given a report, give us greater look into, obviously, none of us are in the school working. And this will just give us a greater look into the potential current situations, the rumors that we are hearing, and maybe there's some validity to that. And I think we as a board have allowed us to explore this and delve into this a bit further. We owe that to our teachers, we owe that to the community, we owe that to our staff. So,
I would agree with that. I think that we're in a unique situation as a school right now for a variety of reasons, but one of those, and I'm just speaking for myself personally, we are pioneering something with Monument Academy. We've never been down this road before, having a high school, 2 facilities and campuses, and clearly we are facing some significant challenges, which is not surprising. And so I say, what is the culture, what is the climate that we want to have at our school? It's up to us to determine that. And we have a unique opportunity, as I see it, difficult, but a unique opportunity. And I personally do not see harm. I only see benefits. And bringing in somebody from the outside to come in and take a look. If we want to be a place of character, if we want to uphold our mission statement, and I know we all do, to me, something like this fosters honesty, transparency, a growth mindset in everybody from top to bottom. So I think that this is an excellent idea. And I think my vote would be yes for that. And I think it's worth the cost.
It's important at this point too to have somebody that comes in that's just an external source, so we have that transparency, somebody that's impartial. So I support this. I would also just like to state though that part of what we're seeking right now with filling up organizational chart is the opportunity for everybody to be in their roles and be able to start succeeding in their roles and live in their strengths versus being put in positions where their weaknesses are more forthcoming. So as we go through this and as we can have somebody come in and be asking these questions, we also just need to have some patience as we let people get into their roles and into their defined roles as well, rather than being strictly judged off of their time spent wearing multiple hats. And that goes not just to the COO, but other people throughout our colleges as well that have had to wear a lot of different hats.
My opinion on this is that I think it's a great opportunity to sort of survey the school, as you mentioned, one thing I personally would like to see out of this is also some best practice recommendations from the consultant that we hire. You know, it's one thing to get a survey and know how people are feeling, what's going on, but then it's another thing to then get some best practices and some recommendations that we can take steps to improve the school.
Very valuable.
So now understanding better as to how this process plays out, I would definitely be in favor of this action. I think the part of it that would excite me the most is the fact that I've already stated that we're going to have directives that are issued tonight to build out our organizational chart quickly, and it needs to be effective. And I think by gathering this data, it's data that can be put into the hands of the principals and assistant principals that are coming into place here in the very near future, and give them a quick snapshot as to what they're getting into for their due diligence period, understanding who we are, how we do things, our culture. It's already been prepared for. They know the pain points. They know what CAPS are before.
Absolutely. And this would also, in my opinion, potentially bring forth if there is, I stated in my statement that I don't see any things that we can do to address some of these concerns. If this may surface something that we as a board can take action on. And I want to make sure that the teachers and our community and our staff understand that we are here, we are listening, and we want to go into this deeper. Ms. St. Auburn, do you have anything?
No, I do agree. I support this idea. Can you hear me? I do support this idea. I think we are just at a stage of growth, and having someone come in from the outside and analyze the organization as a whole. One thing that we saw as a challenge is that we were kind of operating in two silos, the West Campus and the East Campus. And the West Campus, thanks to the Highway 105 committee, has needed a lot of attention in the last year. And I think that it shows. And I think having someone just come over and analyze our organizational chart and our strengths and our weaknesses and where we have holes will be very valuable and money well spent. So I would support the motion.
That said, I need to make a formal motion to do this. Second on that. So there's going to be a couple parts to this motion that we'll start with. I think I move that we establish a subcommittee with sole intent of vetting and engaging the services of a third-party professional consultant coach.
I second the motion.
Any further discussion on said motion? Mr. Pichkowski, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Mrs. Clinton?
Aye.
Mr. Dole?
Aye.
Mrs. McEwen?
Aye.
Ms. St. Auburn?
Aye.
And the record line is on both sides. So now, this leads into the discussion of who wants to be on this committee. I'm happy to participate.
You know, Ryan, I would like to go on. That right now that some of you are engaged in a lot of subcommittees. The two that that I'm on, those buildings and governments are actually probably a little bit more under control than the others. It's a little bit fewer tasks. And so especially since we're looking at doing this in the meantime, like before the end of the year, we get rolling, that it possibly works better for my schedule than for some of the others, since I know some of their schedules. So I'm going to volunteer for it. I'm happy to report that no. But if it's helpful to the others.
Thank you. Is there someone else on this board that would like to do this with Mr. Krasinski?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. Good. I will make another motion. I hereby move that the new reform subcommittee be comprised of Joe Buchkowski and Misty McKeon. I would need a second for that motion. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Mr. Buchkowski, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Mrs. Clinton?
Aye.
Mr. Joel?
Aye.
Mrs. McKeon?
Aye.
Mrs. St. Aug?
Aye.
Thank you guys for stepping up. for this. Now we need to have some discussion because we have authorized a board sanction committee that we have two new members on. We need to authorize some type of expenditure. Some type of expenditure we need to bring back to the board. And at this point, to be quite honest with you, I don't know exactly where that number is going to fall. But I would probably start with just a $5,000 appropriation to that. But I need to talk to our CFO, Mr. Rockhurst, to see, number one, does that need to come out of our board budget, or would that come out of professional development, professional services? Professional services? Okay, terrific. Would there be any further dialogue if I make a motion to appropriate that figure for the board, giving Joe and the studio ability to authorize that?
Just one question, that if we'll probably, but if we request some proposals from some consultants, and they're not aligned with that number, and that's doing the balance. Possibly want to do something between now and our annual business meeting, or something that would require a special session. What do you think?
If the board allocated or appropriated X amount of dollars, and it went over that cap, then yes, it would have to come back to the session meeting where we do further appropriations. So we can go from 5,000 to 10,000. It's going to be that much. My interpretation is that this would take about a week for a consultant to school and start the interview process, speaking with the individuals that are identified to be spoken with. And ultimately, along that same vein, we would probably want to get some input from who the teachers may want to present, or who the staff they want to present to have or Joe and Misty would identify individuals that would be speaking. They would not come in with every single person, but it very well could be somewhere in the realm of 15 people, and obviously we do have the authority to authorize. I'm just going to make a motion. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to clarify real quick, this is for the East Campus only.
Correct. And this may be something that urban or on the road that let's set this up for the next. And to go back to the question of what do we do with the information that we receive, there's a lot of other things we can do. And if coaching is warranted, then that is something we can explore further. I don't want to get into the weeds on that right now. I think that's something that's in writing and finalized that gives us a definitive understanding and better understanding of what the issues may be. with that said, I'm gonna make a motion. Give our move.
One, I don't want to handcuff you guys on the 5,000. If I can call a special open session just to keep this thing moving. We need to keep this. I'm just gonna ask anybody in the audience, if anybody has any understanding or has employed these types of services before and understands what they might cost. Let us know now, because we need to appropriate more funds.
Being told to look. I hereby move that we allocate to the new foremost board subcommittee the appropriation of up to $10,000 for the engagement of services in relation to a professional consultant / coach.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion on the second motion? Ms. St. Aubin?
No.
Call the vote. Mr. Kaczkowski, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Ms. Tony? Aye. Mr. Gold?
Aye.
Mrs. McEwen?
Aye.
Mrs. St. Aubin?
Aye.
Ryan votes aye. I'll give you guys some marching orders to be able to take that back, and again, thank you for being willing to take this task. It's one piece. I'm free to, that concludes what I would like to present, but I'd like to hear from the rest of the board tonight. On other things that we'd like to do.
I guess, just one comment. There's some discussion tonight about changing the vigilance policy. And further from the people that spoke earlier, and citizen comments. And it just came to my mind that, you and I, have this committee, that's one of our policies. And it's possible that when we go back to our community, we can review our own process. And it probably is time to take a look at how ours compares to other charter schools. And I just wanted to make that note and just to let the people out there know that we do have a committee that looks at those things. It's something that we can even look at in our next meeting. Next week, it's just on Tuesday. So it's something that we'll take a look at.
And for those of you that are familiar with our board policies, if you just go onto our MA website and look under the board link, there is a drop down for all of our policies. The policy that Mr. Kaczkowski is referring to is 15. That currently is our group's policy that obviously I can follow. But we will take a look at that next week, just in relation to some of the comments that we can hear. We don't need a formal. It's something that we discuss in that meeting.
I think I feel like a lot has been said already this evening. And I guess I just want to say, well, first, thank you, Ryan and Chris, for taking the time to put together this statement that you did and putting up the facts that you did. And it takes a lot of courage to put your dirty laundry out there. And this is our dirty laundry tonight. And I think that's okay. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. And I hope that it speaks to our community, the direction that we believe we're going as a school. And I don't know if we're planning on emailing out any of these statements or anything, but I would like for my name to be put in support of your statement and yours, Mr. Dole. And again, just thank you for taking your time, and your energy, for putting your heart to the statements. I think it represents well my feelings, and my thoughts. And I honestly don't feel like there's much more for me personally, to say, except that I'm proud to be a part of our school. I'm proud to be part of this community, which I see as courageous. The leadership, the teachers, the parents, all of you guys coming out here this evening speaks volumes. And it's why I serve on this board, because of our community. And we care deeply about our teachers, we care deeply about our children. We care about what is going on in the school, and I think this is amazing that we have this amount of turnout. And I think, you know, we're obviously in a hard time and we're pulling together. And I'm grateful for that. So I believe, Mr. Holmes, and I just want to say thank you. You know, it takes a lot of courage for you to sit there and hear all the things that you've heard tonight and allow us to be honest. And I want to say thank you for that. It's not easy to do that, sir. And we don't expect you to be perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to do the work to make our school better. And I believe that you are as well. I believe we all are. I believe we all are willing to do the work to come together and make our school more amazing. It's already in an incredible place. Yes, we are in a challenging position right now, but I think we're going to get through this, and we're committed. We're committed. And I believe everyone in here is also committed to that. So. Yeah, I'm not sure how much, I mean, I could say a lot, but we've already been here a long time. It takes up 17. So I'm just going to end on that. Thank you to all of you, teachers for being here, staff for being here, parents for being here, all of you. Thank you for your heart.
Thank you, Mrs. McKeon. The honor that you would like to add to that statement, that obviously can extend that to anyone that's on this board. I'm happy to send the statement out that I drafted it. For that correction. Just being that is from my eyes only. That said, we can move forward if there's no further discussion on board response to leadership concern at this moment. I want to make something very clear. Because we're talking about this tonight, trying to strategize on how this doesn't end here. This board is going to continue to be receptive. This board is going to continue because your concerns are warranted. And we want this is not falling on deaf ears. And from there, all we can do once we have a report back from this consultant is further delve into some of this. Conversation regarding
comments. I think, Ryan, one of the everything that's going on inside is communication. I think we some sort of directive, not just our CRO, but I think to the current highest level of leadership at each campus. I think there needs to be some expectation of communication that goes out to the entire community, our staff and our parents, on a regular basis right now. Concerns, we also need to continue hearing the good that is going on at each campus. I still haven't figured out why sometimes I don't get the regular emails, I just get the board email. So maybe some communication is already going out, but I would like to see at least talking about what's been going on. Speak praise where it's needed. I think that needs to be heard from currently our assistant principals at each campus, and I think it needs to be heard from our CEOs.
that communication.
So to clarify this, and I agree with what you're saying, it's assistant principals at both our campuses. So they are the ones that are tasking with this weekly communication, just to be clear.
As the structure stands at this moment, yes, that may change in the next few months. The current assistant principal will be sending that out. And CRO will be sending out the communication as well.
I think that's great. I agree. I support this.
This being that was asking the assistant principals with us, that obviously not a direct report. Mr. Holmes, do you have any comment on that? And to the assistant principals that are here this evening, would you like to speak to that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're- you would like to know exactly what we would like in that report. Could I put one of you on the spot? And then put a mic on. Just stay over my head. Thank you, Mrs. Thomas.
So what we were saying was that we would like to know the modalities that you would like to send. So if it's going to be email, if it's going to be verbal communication, both, if it's going to be being of links used. We would also, it would help us to know sort of what you would like to see, with just some guidance so that we're hitting the target of what it is you're requesting.
Brian, one idea is to take it to governance committee. That way, it would just be in black and white on paper for the principal to follow. That, it's just an idea. It's easier on everyone. It is something that we can talk about.
I think that it's actually a terrific idea. And I would feel to you, Mr. Gordon, to say that's something that policy governance could take back. What our topics we would want to establish a policy.
Sure, as I'm making this proposal, the thought behind it is, when we all leave here tonight, this conversation cannot stop. I've heard a lot of simple desires that can be met by our staff, simple social gatherings, honoring of birthdays. I don't need a 10-page email. You could send me a 1-page email. Hey, this week we honored the birthday of this, right? Let's show camaraderie. Let's build this team back to where it was, but only stronger. Let's get those communications out there. Let's continue to acknowledge stress points, challenge points. Work as a team to solve this now. I think we can acknowledge those steps through emails. I don't feel like this needs to be a formal process. Governance committee. That's ultimately the direction we want, but I would encourage leadership to send communication now. Send whatever it is that's on their hearts to keep communication open. Governance committee is going to go away. It's going to solve the conversation.
It's well received, probably just a little bit easier to come out approach to be a little too rigid and, send this. I think it really goes back to that, Mr. Walker and Mrs. Thomas. Send out what you would want as a community rep. Absolutely. Any further discussion on board response to leadership concerns? All right, let's move on to letter B, review of organizational structure.
as I stated earlier, tonight, we have an organizational chart that has gaping holes in it, specifically at the senior leadership level. We have a COO, but we need principals. The principals are the voices and the faces of each campus individually. The full organizational chart, as proposed, has a principal and a vice principal for our elementary campus, for our middle school, and also for our high school. We must, in my opinion, achieve that. We have the opportunity before us tonight to charge the COO with immediate proceed with the filling of the principal at the West Campus. I acknowledged earlier that the COO also promised the West Campus staff that that would not happen quickly and that would wait till the spring. I don't believe that we can wait that long. We have an opportunity to what I call button up the West Campus machine and let it do its thing. It has an amazing staff. It has two amazing assistant principals at this point in time. But it's time to fill the principal position. I'd like to start there.
So we can go into a formal motion discussion or some discussion now.
So to clarify, Chris, you're talking about, practically you're talking about, or are you talking about one principal and one assistant principal? Is that what I mean?
That is what I said. Yes, one principal and one assistant principal at each campus. I'm completely open to input from the leadership currently in place at each campus if they feel that for some odd reason that is not an appropriate structure. But at the very least, I know we need a principal.
I feel like personally, I'd like to hear from our current leadership on what they see the need to be. They're the ones in it, doing it. So if that would be possible.
And I also feel like the two-person team we've had at the West Campus is doing a phenomenal job. And I asked them, the teachers, how it's going. I think they're very comfortable with that. And I think that maybe the principal there, will be very effective for this campus because it is generally secondary schools take a little bit more management. And this, because of the growth of the high school and added grade assistance, a little bit more management. Several months ago, before Mrs. Seymour resigned, we had principal and two assistant principals, and then part-time athletic director and then the assistant athletic director also helped out. So I think the proper model for this campus would be principal and two assistant principals. If we can find somebody good, and if I can quote Laura Barrett just a little bit, when we were in the process of hiring Mr. Walker, she said, just promise me you're not going to hire me a warm body. And we far exceed that. And I think the same thing for this campus, if we can find good qualified people who actually help move us forward, having a principal, an assistant principal, and another assistant principal, if we can find them to be the right model for this campus, which is what we had previously.
Mr. Holmes, as the build out continues adding grades 11 and 12, does that model still hold true?
I think it holds true mostly, but as it almost, and I built out a couple of these K-12s, it almost feels like we need as much administration when you're building it as you do when you're fully built out. So it still might morph and change a little bit from here to there, but I think for this year, that would at least be what we need.
In your time here, Mr. Holmes, and your observations, are there positions, just from your experience to the previous schools that you have helped grow, are there positions that you see that we need, that we do not yet have, that you would like to implement beyond the principal position? That makes sense.
Yes, one of the things that I think we need and how I don't want to set Mr. Bronco his off. Because it's difficult from a budget situation to add, but a chief academic officer for our organization at some point in the next few years, I think would be a good position for us to have. But
Can you elaborate on what that CAO position would do?
a lot of what they do is they head up the curriculum committee. They're involved in curriculum discussions with teachers and making sure that they have the things that they need. They're very much keepers of the academic piece of it, making sure that we're following through with our core knowledge curriculum. They also help the principals and assistant principals coach in methodology. So one of the things that we are committed to is the classical model of instruction, which means grammar, logic, rhetoric. And so we teach third graders differently than we teach seventh graders, than we teach high school students. And part of what we need to continue to develop is to build, teach those students in different ways. And that person is very much needs to be an expert in those philosophies and those ideologies. Not the only person, but someone who leads those discussions and those implementations of philosophies.
Would the CAO position would report directly to the board as well, correct?
It could report directly to the board, it could directly report to the COO. That would be, you guys' choice.
I would be pleased with us pursuing that, when the budget would allow, and frankly, just provide balance for you. You are, a businessman from strength, and, I think asking all of that in one position with the COO is a lot, and to balance things out. I personally would like to see that position be someone that reports directly to the board and is a channel on the academic side to the board, versus what you in your role on the business side would provide to us.
Are there any other positions you see that we need in moving forward?
That's the one that I thought of probably more than anything, just, and I haven't brought it up to you before because it's, right now in our budget, it doesn't feel like we can afford that. That is, when we can afford it, I think a position that would help us. And part of what we just talked about tonight of being off course, that person helps with some of that being off course. It just would lend support to that, and I don't know what our two assistant principals think about that. If general thumbs up or thumbs down about that.
Mr. Dole, if I'm understanding, stand up here, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Dole, if I'm understanding, you'd like the board to issue a directive that we feel that to have that same directive issued.
The director doesn't need to be to have the principal position filled. If we can at least establish who is in charge of this campus. We as a board, and who, I need Merle as COO out of the operation of running this campus on a daily basis. We need that.
Mr. Holmes, right now, my understanding is that Mrs. Thomas.
Well, as our only current existing administrator, she is in charge of this campus.
So right now, all staff, teachers are going through Mrs. Thomas. Not something that we have before to this time, in relation to teachers, et cetera, et cetera.
That's correct, but because she's the only one here, I have been involved in, as some of you were board members, in meeting with the teachers to talk through where concerns are. Also contributing ideas to how we could bring more structure and more systems into the organization. So I've been involved in those. So I guess I would say it's probably, we haven't given a clear directive that this is who's in charge.
You have not.
Both been working together, but obviously
propose that we give that directive to acknowledge Mr. McComas as the person that is running.
Yeah, absolutely.
Determine what the process is to issue the directive.
Basically, if there's board consent. Would there be any objections? The directive that will ultimately be coming from the board that Mr. Holmes would let the community know, let the staff know that Mr. Holmes would be the
Mr. Graham, can you hear me? I just can't hear him.
that's good to know. I did not know that. I don't think it's board with that. So let's take a step back. We understand we need somebody in that role, whether it's an interim position, but what I'm hearing from HR is that ultimately we have to be a person for that to be within the compliance of this. So that said,
I was just going to ask if you can talk straight into your microphone, because it's really hard to hear when you move around your microphone. Thank you.
so backing up on this, how would you perceive that new oversight?
I'm gonna go back to my HR fan club over here. What I'm looking to establish is an acknowledgement from the community as to who is running the campus on a day-to-day basis. I'm saying that there does not have to be a title change or position, and maybe there's things there that we need to understand. But what I'm trying to do is to make sure that we understand who's running this campus on a day-to-day basis, whatever that title is, whatever the process that needs to be carried out. I want us to move that forward. Okay. I do believe that in Julie's departure and lack of communication, it has been unclear as to who is ultimately running this campus. And I want to establish that here tonight. Whatever that process is, whatever it takes, I want to establish that. I want to get the West Campus buttoned up, and I want to get our COO doing what we originally hired him to do.
Mr. Holmes, would you like to speak to that?
I concur with that, and I think we can do that. Again, and we can work with HR, make sure we're doing it within the legal requirements.
Perfect. Set that as a formal directive from this board. We need somebody that's in that position. That work, Mr. Bell?
That does work. Mr. Holmes, before you vacate the mic, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes?
I have a question for you. In terms of the West Campus, what is the timeline based on whatever processes are available, to acknowledge the open position and proceed to vote.
And again, HR and I will need to sit down and do it. I think it can happen in a matter of a few weeks. To officially post it, move through a process, make that decision.
Okay, and I would request, today's Thursday, I would say by Tuesday, if you could meet with HR and report back to the board just via email as to what the process is going to be and hopefully a refined timeline.
And one of our HR people is out this weekend, so by Tuesday afternoon, we should be able to meet. Correct?
Thank you.
Can I ask one more thing real quick on this, just to clarify? Are we just, and I apologize if I missed this, but are we talking about having 2 assistant principals still and 1 principal at the West Campus? Or are we moving back to 1 again?
The plan is to have 3 administrators, but 1 to be acting principal and then 2 assistants to help. We're in the process of trying to have 2 more administrators for this campus.
I'm sorry, with regards to the West Campus though, are we looking to move one of our APs into, or are we looking to ultimately have a principal and an assistant principal at the West Campus?
Correct.
Okay.
So with all the dialogue on this, just for clarification's sake, we're looking at the East Campus to have 1 principal and 2 APs. At the West Campus, we're looking at having.
Correct.
Is that the understanding for the rest of the board? Can you hear me?
No, I couldn't really hear that final thing you said.
Okay, just for clarification.
If you're making a motion or if you're making a directive, I didn't hear it.
Putting some clarification on this to say that at the East Campus.
Megan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I was getting clarification as to the organizational structure that's been proposed at both campuses. The West Campus would be 1 principal, 1 assistant principal. The East Campus would be 1 principal, 2 assistant principal.
Okay.
Do you have any questions or are you in agreement with that?
I know there was some discussion about the CAO position. Is that something that we are interested in potentially filling this year or in the early spring for next year?
I personally like to have Mark look at it and get back to us with more information on that and be able to know how soon we will be able to put a job posting out there and specify something for that position. I say the sooner the better, but we need to defer to CFO for more information on that.
Okay, that is something that I wanted to propose tonight as well. So I'm glad Mr. Holmes brought it up. And that was approved by the board 3 years ago when we changed the position from executive director. That we would have at that time we said a CBO and a CAO. And I see the value in that. And even if that person serves as, a dual role as maybe a principal and a CAO to begin, but then we, as we grow, roll it into 2 positions. But having an administrator who is overarching, making sure that our curriculum is working from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade and that it's flowing and that it's syncing seems like a big gap that we have. And I think maybe that's something our the consultant would be able to advise us on as well. But to me, I would like to keep that option open and at least have Mark look into budgeting and how we possibly could do that as soon as possible.
That would my thoughts on the way you do this, but I really would like to get this consultant on board. I would like to have that consultant engage with teachers and have some conversations around this particular idea of the CAO and bring that back to the board. Because we do understand significant budget deficit, that we're talking a six-figure salary to a position that can we do without until next year. I'm not saying that that has to be the direction that we move in, but we need to explore that before we potentially allocate that type of funding to hire somebody. I do, my thought is that putting the proper structure in place at the administration level, I'm cautiously optimistic that we can start working through some of these communication issues that we are having. But ultimately, we have to start with that, as we are all aware as a board. And taking what I'm hearing tonight, we're going to issue a formal directive to make sure that the administrative structure is still that we discussed at the West Campus with the one principal and the one AP. To make sure that we providing the law to do this. Is everybody in agreement with that directive? Okay.
This is where we, as a board, though, need to ask you as a community to offer grace and patience as we implement these directives, that we fill out the leadership gaps, and we give everybody time to get into those roles and really be successful. And we will keep evaluating all of it. We will take your feedback and your communications, and we expect that from you. But we need the time as well. As Ryan said, this is not going to just happen overnight. So we appreciate the continued communications and the patience that you provide us.
Board, is there any further discussion of review of organizational structure right now? Yeah. Ms. St. Alban, did you hear that question? Mr. Dole, did you hear that question? Ms. St. Alban?
Do you have any more discussion? You good?
I'm good. You know how to use your microphone better than Mr. Graham does. Thank you.
Are you having difficulties out there hearing me? Let's move on to elections policy first read. As we discussed in the governance committee, we wanted to have this to you for the month of December with the intent of having the policy adopted by this board at the next meeting on January 13th. This policy would be in relation to the elections for future board members. And as it stands right now, we have 2 board members rolling off this next year. But we also authorized, I don't have the date, the bringing on of a 7th board member. So we will actually be having 3 board member seats that will be open this coming spring for the 22-23 school year. So if you guys have taken the time to review this elections policy, if you have any further discussion on it, we can do so. But I think at this point, I would ask Mr. Buchkowski to go ahead and read the policy aloud to the board and to the community.
Okay, so this is our Board of Directors Governance and Policy. The title of this policy is the MA Board of Directors New Members Election Process. And, before I read it, I'll say that, so we arrived at this policy through several drafts of policies that were never really codified in the past, as well as Megan's experience running elections in the past, as well as researching some of the laws under the education laws and some of the best practices that are out there. So So here's Roman numeral one, issue statement. A, the purpose of this policy is to provide an election process to fill Monument Academy Board of Directors vacancies. Two, policy statement. A, Board of Directors vacancies are filled via an election of qualified candidates as described in the bylaws of Monument Academy. The Board of Directors shall conduct a fair and transparent election in accordance with the bylaws of Monument Academy. Three, election process. A, the Vice President of the Board of Directors shall be responsible for the election process and shall follow the election process listed below. One, in January, prior to the board meeting, create a Google form with the form field listed in attachment A. Election application Google form field. Two, in January, prior to the board meeting, notify the MA via email the number of vacancies to be filled, the eligibility requirements for candidates, the Google form link, and the general timeline of the election process. Send reminder emails to the MA community in early February and early March. Three, from January through March, receive candidate submissions and schedule each candidate to meet with 1 to 2 board members so that each candidate may ask questions. Encourage each candidate to attend all board meetings from application date through the April board meeting. Or, in April, prior to the board meeting, if there are fewer candidates than vacancies, the board to appoint candidates, scheduling an April board meeting agenda item if necessary. 5. Schedule candidates to attend the April board meeting and to present a 5-minute statement of their interest to serve on the board. 6. In April, if necessary, schedule a Q&A session for the MA community to ask questions of the candidate. 7. In the last week of April, conduct a 5-day formal election using a third-party online election system within the budget set by the CFO or approved by the Board of Directors. The MA voting community includes current and is required to conduct a 5-day runoff election in the first week of May using the same third-party online election system. 8. In May, prior to the board meeting, compile election results and inform the board and the candidates of the results. The Board of Directors shall announce the names of the newly elected board members at the May board meeting. The Board of Directors shall send an announcement to the newly elected members to the community after the May board meeting. 9. Retain election records for 30 days after the election, provided the election or the results of it have not been challenged. Should an election be contested, all records are to be retained until such time as the appropriate court allows them to be destroyed. Roman numeral 4, post-election tasks. A, the Vice President of the Board of Directors shall be responsible for the following post-election tasks. 1. Schedule elected candidates to attend the June board meeting as non-voting members. 2. Create an agenda item to have the newly elected candidates sworn in as board members during the June board meeting and effective as of July 1. Have newly elected members sign the board code of conduct declaration, which is attachment A to the MA board policy 1514. 3. Schedule elected candidates to complete a new board training within 3 months of appointment, as required and provided through legal or another approved organization. Related documents. A. Monument Academy bylaws. B. 1514A. Board code of conduct. C. Attachment A. Election application. Points of contact. The following positions shall serve as points of contact in enforcement of this policy. Vice President of the Board of Directors, and the Chief Operating Officer. And Ryan, would you like me to do all of
This is a question, Mr. Vichkowski. I think for the, yes, please read the question text as it for the.
So the form field will contain the following questions. 1, first name. 2, last name. 3, email address. 4, are you a parent or guardian of a student at Monument Academy? 5, are you an employee of Monument Academy? 6, are you an immediate family member of an employee to Monument Academy? 7, do you have one, student-centered education? 2, enthusiasm for Monument Academy and conviction and purpose. 3, willingness to give time to Monument Academy. 4, special skills to address specific management and needs of Monument Academy. 5, ability to represent the community and interpret community needs. 6, willingness to accept and support decisions democratically made. 7, ability to represent Monument Academy to the community. 8, please attach a PDF essay of your qualifications to serve on the MA board, your vision for Monument Academy, and or the reason you are running for this position. Your essay will be published to the Monument Academy community. Please limit your essay to 500 words. Question 9, please attach a headshot photograph of yourself. The photograph will be published to the Monument Academy community. And 10, the Vice President of Monument Academy Board will be in touch with you regarding the next steps in the process.
Thank you, Mr. Vichkowski. One correction, number 6, are you, muted? We just need to.
Thank you, Ryan.
Right, board, that's the first read of the new 1514B policy. Discussion on that. Yes, sir, Mr. Ritter.
Well, I think it's well defined in your bylaws, but I don't think this has an adequate definition of who electors are. You can say parents, families, and staff, but how many voters and families? And that's what we need.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We'll take a look at our there and incorporate that.
Yes, I don't see you shaking your head, so I'm assuming good, so. We will bring that back to the January board meeting. Adoption of that, then we'll take some others from that, and further expand on that. That now moves us into board comments.
I just had a couple announcements. I always ask the PTO presidents of each campus if there's anything they'd like to add to our meeting. Mr. Holmes already touched on some of these, but I'll just say in conjunction with the craft fair discussion, there were 52 tables and a lot of them sold out. It is a great chance for the kids to learn entrepreneurship skills and human relationships, and it's just such an awesome thing that the school does. My son was one of those that got to sit there and watch it. It was really amazing. And then at the East Campus, I mentioned the volunteers that we have added. They're also working to get the teacher lounge finished by December 16th. As a little Christmas gift to teachers and staff, and working with an Eagle Scout candidate right now to finish the volleyball pit. So exciting stuff at both campuses, the PTOs, and make sure you're paying attention to opportunities that they are putting together. And then I did ask teacher representatives for any announcements, and they would like to continue to encourage the teachers to fill out the teacher survey that went out, as well as parents to pay attention to the facts survey deadlines, and also keep paying attention to the volunteer opportunities that we have our staff.
board any further comments? All right. Moving on to new business. Do we have any points for new business to be added to the agenda? Do we have any citizen comments not pertaining to agenda items?
We do not.
Okay. So for those of you that are in attendance tonight, typically when we sign up, or when you sign up for citizen comments, you need to get it as an agenda item or a non-agenda item. Obviously, we don't have it. Clarity. Typically, adjourn, and then non-agenda citizen comment. So because we do not have any, we're going to said, I have a-
A second the motion.
Adjourn.
I'm Dawn Wooten. I'm the new high school English teacher. I haven't had a chance to meet everybody, so I just wanted to thank you so much.
Hi, how you doing?
Thank you very much. Wish I could be there.
Yeah, I think it went well. Okay. The feeling in the room at this point is good. Okay,
Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear.
good. Do you
Nice.
want me to just leave you right here in case somebody wants to talk to you, or? do you
Sure,
wanna
just
sign
leave me.
off?
That'd be good, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you guys volunteering. Been a lot. Been unclear about the state. Yes. So the answer is yes. So I can personally listen to that. I've seen it. Our teachers. So I can start at like. It's a really good effort. It's still an effort. Especially as our children. They're lucky if you get to see. Right? And this. System. Just on the facts. This is that's what this kind of reactions.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good.
You did well. You articulated yourself well, and I know how, well, I don't know how, I can imagine how tiring this job is. And it's free. A volunteer position. There was two things that I was thinking about.